Hey, Golden Universe, I hope you're having a good
Yo, this is King Midas, and you're listening to the Golden Show. It's King Midas certified.
Life would be funny if it was a test, like when you die, some angel or some shit comes out and says, that shit was just a test, y'all, joke. It's a test or a fucking game, right? But more like a test, so you got the state tests, like CAPS and SATs, pop quizzes, tests, midterms, finals, right? Pens, fucking pencils and paper, which play like the hobbies and the jobs. Teachers are played by bosses. Head of education is the creator. And we're all like the student, right? And Earth is the school. Or the school's played by the Earth, whatever. Tests have those that studied and those that have not studied. The only thing is that a test usually has to have right and wrong answers.
Have you been studying?
Who the fuck is really taking the
Golden
test?
Show.
I don't
Early
know.
morning did
That shit ain't going down. I was thinking on that craziness. Open minds and empty ones, right?
Fuck that.
Are we all tuned in? Do you guys have your pencils and papers? Are you ready to get golden? There will be a fucking test. We ain't craving for no fucking test around here. We got some coffee, we rolling gold, and we gon' go fucking get our knowledge off. So let's like come share it down on
The golden debate show. Yeah, the golden debate show. The golden debate show. Yeah, the golden debate show. Oh, wow, golden debate show. We gon' talk about this all about the golden debate show.
Interesting little article from The Verge. IRS rules Bitcoin will be taxed as property, not currency. The IRS previously admitted it wasn't sure how to tax Bitcoin, but today it reached a decision. Bitcoin and other virtual currencies are considered property, not currency. According to a notice posted today, that means Bitcoin owners will have to pay taxes on the income they gain as Bitcoin increases in value. It may be able to deduct the loss if Bitcoin loses value, just as if Bitcoin were a stock. In some environments, virtual currency operates like real currency, the IRS writes, but it does not have legal tender status in any jurisdiction. Therefore, virtual currency is treated as property for U.S. federal tax purposes, and general tax principles that apply to property transactions apply to transactions using virtual currency. Now, I think Bitcoin even more has vampire hands in it, and that's just the way now. I guess the good thing is that you can write it off, but that's also a vamp thing because they're going to be writing it off. So, all the money's fucked up, everybody. We're going to be going back to bartering, everybody.
It may surprise you to learn that drones are flying across America. Not the impersonal killing machines that patrol the badlands overseas, but drones nonetheless. Used by the FBI, by university researchers, by amateur photographers, even by your nosy neighbors. Domestic drones are poised to become a multi-billion-dollar industry, revolutionizing everything from crop management down to the farm to possibly package delivery to your doorstep. The Federal Aviation Administration is trying to figure out the rules of the road for drones, but for the moment, they're barely regulated. Tonight, we offer a quick once-over of just what these gizmos can do. We begin in the park in Austin, Texas.
So I'll go ahead and hit record, and I'll start flying this for you. Slowly tilt up my camera to reveal the city.
We're looking at the future.
And then I can spin around us here.
And whether we like it or not, the future is looking back at us.
The 60-minute
right in on us.
Hit you with the drones, they try to kill me, but they only got my phone. Hit you with the drones, hit you with the drones, they try to kill me, but they only got my phone. Hit you with the drones, hit you with the drones, they try to kill me, but they only got my phone.
In a time where government surveillance and online spying are par for the course, it's no surprise that some Americans want to opt for a more private lifestyle, away from the tech-driven habits of modern consumerism. Going off the grid is a growing trend among people who want to limit their carbon footprint and don't want to be indebted to oil, water, and gas companies. And while it's a nearly impossible feat to estimate the exact number of Americans currently living this alternative lifestyle, according to a 2006 study by Home Power magazine, some 180,000 families live off-grid, a figure that has jumped 33% every year for a decade. And it doesn't seem like that would pose much of a threat. After all, thousands of homes supplying their own power puts less strain on the existing power grid. However, we can't have someone living outside the matrix, which is why there is a concerted effort to crack down on this type of sustainable living. Which is exactly what happened last year at the Garden of Eden community in Arlington, Texas, which was raided by SWAT officers. And while the community wasn't shut down permanently, the police raid signaled that state opposition to an off-the-grid lifestyle is very real. This has also been the case for Robin Sparonis, a Florida woman who redesigned her house to be fully self-sustaining, collecting rainwater and using solar power to run her appliances. But this didn't sit too well with city officials in Cape Coral, Florida, who took Robin to court, demanding that she be hooked up to the city's electrical and sewer services. What's worse is that the judge in this case, Harold Eskin, recently ruled that Sparonis is, in fact, required by law to hook up to the city's water system. In other words, she was found guilty of not choosing to be dependent on corporations for the basic services she was already providing for herself. Makes perfect sense. But Sparonis is only one of many of these types of cases occurring all over the country. And it's no surprise considering the growing trend of people wanting to escape modern society. In Oregon, 65-year-old Gary Harrington was actually sentenced to 30 days in jail and fined $1,500 for simply collecting rainwater. City officials cited a 1920s law that gave the county full ownership of runoff water, landing him with 9 misdemeanor charges because apparently you need a license to own rain. Here he is standing in front of one of the illegal ponds on his property. And just last year, after refusing to destroy his ponds, Harrington was found in violation of the law yet again for appropriating water without a permit. This landed him yet another jail sentence, only this time it was for 90 days. Listen, instead of cracking down on these people, they should be commended and serve as examples for the rest of us, and how we can all live
I think
more
all these are kind of easy for me
sustainable,
anyway.
potentially more
Stone
fruitful
Temple
lives.
Pilots plush. The wrong lyric is when the dogs defile her, and what the real lyric is when the dogs do find her. Number 4, rock the Casbah. A lot of people think it's rock the cat backs and rob the cash box. It's rock the Casbah. Pretty good song. Bruce Springsteen's song Blinded by the Light became a chart topper for Mansfield Man's Irv Band. And a lot of people think that they're saying wrapped up like a douche. That one's funny and it's a pretty good song. And I did think they said like a douche. But what they're really saying is blinded by the light, revved up like a deuce, another runner in the night. So, number 6, Louie Louie, No Way, No Way is a classic song. Sometimes people just get them wrong, like the lyric, You Gotta Go, which has been misquoted as Let My Finger Go. Nirvana, Teen Spirit. Now, he mumbles pretty much through the whole thing. A lot of people think that they're saying, with the lights out, sex is dangerous, here we are now in containers. The right lyric is, with the lights out, it's less dangerous, here we are now, entertain us. So yeah, let's get it in. Golden Debate Show. So this next clip is from Alex Jones. Well, this is a little short. He has a couple of people announcers, and I like, the news isn't always bad. It's just fear. So Shorty here calms it down a little bit.
Being able to do a job better than
Jed Vamps taking over.
They've got the TSA controlling and policing Americans daily at airports. Now they're rolling them out at games and things like that. But we're finding out that the $1 billion they spent to train these TSA baboons to read body language as an indicator of terrorist activity, turns out there is no terrorism tell in an airport line. And surprise, the TSA's behavior detection officers were a waste of taxpayer funds. $1 billion worth of taxpayer funds, just like all of those X-ray machines that they had to just throw into some closet somewhere because they didn't work. Now, as the Government Accountability Office points out, fewer than 1% of the more than 30,000 passengers a year who are identified as suspicious end up being arrested, and that not one single offense has been linked to terrorism, because it's not about fighting terrorism. It is about controlling and policing Americans. But of course, this behavior analysis program just gives the TSA an excuse to roll out their contrived security theater and grope and grab anyone who they think looks shifty, because it takes one to know one. But now, how far will this go, this need to control everyone? It's going to our schools now. Our children are being trained to obey. And when is it going to finally be time to say enough? Well, perhaps this next story might be enough to enrage you. This is the one: a Colorado girl shaved her head to support a friend who went bald due to cancer treatment. Well, she was suspended from school for violating the dress code. Cameron Renfro decided to shave her head to support her friend Delaney Clements, who was undergoing chemotherapy for stage 4 cancer. But school officials barred her from returning to her public charter school until her hair grew
on Contra, maybe even Clinton. They were petty crimes. They didn't rise to the level of what our founding fathers might have called high crimes and misdemeanors. Article 2 of the Constitution has an impeachment clause in it. I think the founders would be astounded, utterly astounded to a man. Elbridge Gerry, Alexander Hamilton, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, you name one of the founders that we know. They'd be astounded we hadn't thrown some bastard out every generation. We've just not used that clause properly. It certainly should have been used against George W. Bush. If there was anyone who should have been impeached, successfully removed from office, it was George W. Bush. So in that vein, the nature of those crimes, in my view, and I think we need that 6,000-plus page report from the Senate Select Committee. I think we need the Panetta report. We need these things out so we can look at them as Americans. With that in mind, I think President Obama made a grave mistake in not doing something about the previous administration's high crimes and misdemeanors.
If you were to draft that bill of impeachment, what would it specify?
I'd have to have those 6,000-plus pages, and then I think I'd have adequate material to frame those articles.
So we don't even know the full extent of...
I think the fright on John Brennan's part right now is that not only will there be people within the CIA who will have to be indicted if this comes out, John Brennan may be amongst them.
Oh, my.
By the way, Uncle Adam and Uncle John.
I just want to point out that this is the connection he had to this conference. This
highly compressed crap.
It's just, I don't know what it's a crappy connection, but here he is, and he continues.
And so he's phoning it in.
Well, he's got the image. He's got a picture. It's like like Skype with a photo. Skype with a video.
It's a hangout.
Could be a hangout.
In doing so, we're going to necessarily encounter Americans and innocent foreign citizens who are just going about their business. And so we have procedures in place that shreds that out, that says, okay, when you find that, not if you find it, when you find it, because you're certain to find it, here's how you protect that. These are called minimization procedures. They're approved by the Attorney General and constitutionally based. And so we protect those. And then for people, citizens of the world who are going about their lawful business on a day-to-day basis, the president on his 17 January speech laid out some additional protections that we are providing to them. So I think absolutely folks do have a right to privacy.
First of all, he's a lawyer.
It is taken into widespread use.
And I'm going to say that he is either a lawyer for... I'm going to say he's a lawyer for a technology company.
He's very poorly spoken, I thought.
Yes.
Saying and duh and all the rest of it all along. And the connection was crap, which I think the connection is kind of a giveaway of who this guy is. So let's do the reveal. Let's do the big reveal here. And now you can play it.
Number 2?
Let's see.
Ask Adam Answer? That would be the one, right?
That's it.
That's the Deputy Director of the National Security Agency, Rick Leggett, giving a TED Talk actually from Fort Meade, Maryland, in response to Edward Snowden's TED Talk earlier this week.
You know, hair and they
Joe Rogan Experience, definitely go check it out.
Rick Baker was like the main guy. But yeah, it's a real thing. Whereas like if you're looking at hair is a big one, like flowing hair. Any flowing hair that's CGI, it looks like shit.
Yeah, it's like unless it's like in a CGI world, like a Pixar film where everyone's fucking looking that way.
Yeah, like a
but if it's standing next to another person, you're like,
it's not real. Yeah, it's not. They're not ready yet. Animals are not ready yet. The wolves in Game of Thrones, those dire wolves, they're like.
We got John Ratzenberger on my show. He plays one of the dads, right? Who's Cliff Clavin from Cheers.
Ah, great.
Now I can always tell the age of a girl. Like, I don't cheat on my girlfriend or anything, but I always think when these girls who are extras have one line on the thing, you always think, I wonder if I could have fucked her. You know, that's how all your life is like this, right?
Right, of course.
And I was talking to one girl thinking, today don't see anything old because they've got too many channel options.
It's true. Too many new shows to catch up on.
I used to see, I seen all the Abbott and Costellos, Mar and Park Kettle films, every Shirley Temple movie, because my mother liked these old black and white films, and they were on a Sunday, and we only had 4 channels, and we had one TV, so I had to fucking sit and watch these films, right, because I didn't go out of the house for whatever reason. Now, the kids today, they've got their own, you know, you had to wake up for a cartoon. Remember, you had to, the cartoon was at Sunday, you had to wake up for it.
I remember that shit.
Now you can DVR it, plus you've got a cartoon channel, and then when you get a bit older, you've got this channel that sort of caters to you being a fucking moron, the Nickelodeon one, where it's like, now, like, you're grown up a little bit, we're still going to keep you children. When the kids should start watching more adult sort of drama-y type things, now they're watching fucking Miley Cyrus or Hannah Montana or that type of shit.
Have you ever seen Nick at Night and Nick Moms?
They have Nick Mums stand-up.
After dark, yeah.
Where they have the mums doing stand-up.
About being a mom.
Yeah.
I guess it works for them, you know. I'm not hating or anything, but
it seems like a very restrictive thing. It's like I once did an atheist convention in front of like 5,000 people in Australia, and I was booked to do it. And as I said, I retire my jokes after they're done. This is the only time I brought back old jokes in recent times because I had to do a 40-minute set. It had to be all religious stuff. And I have 40 minutes of religious stuff over the course of all my specials, but never at once. So I actually sat on looking myself up on YouTube going, oh, that's how that bit goes. Oh, that's how that bit goes. So I could just do a religious fucking set.
A 40-minute religious set. How do you keep yourself from like repeating the same sort of theme?
I've done a lot of religious jokes, but there was a little bit of cheating going on in the sense that I'd go, fucking these Catholics don't like people wearing condoms, do they? Anyway, I fucked a chick without a condom. Like, that wasn't a religious routine.
It's all fun and games till someone gets their eye poked out. This is from TheEconomist.com. Cops or soldiers, America's police have become too militarized. From the way police enter the house, helmeted and masked, guns drawn, and the shields in front, knocking down the door with a battering ram and rushing inside, you might think that they were raiding a den of armed criminals. In fact, they were looking for $1,000 worth of clothes and electronics allegedly bought with a stolen credit card. They found nothing of these things, but arrested 2 people in the house on unrelated charges. They narrowly avoided tragedy on hearing intruders break in. The homeowner's son, a disabled ex-serviceman, reached for his legal gun. Luckily, he heard the police announce themselves and holstered it. Otherwise, they probably would have shot me, he said. His mother, Sally Prince, says she is now traumatized. You know someone's suing. Let's get it in. Golden Debate Show, earlymorningout.com. I had another little short one to add with the other one, tone bounce, so...
Golden. Yo, it's golden, just like a blitz. Better save up, stock up on your canned goods. Tasting good. Golden bars around your neck, keep them tight flow. For when the bands come for all the dough, I'm spitting on my spit. Spit force here, tip. hunting on this shit. Black ops too dead, yeah. I'm jumping off the shit, shooting fucking sniper tip. MCs don't want none, that's why they rip. RIP MCs, that's how they flow. Like these fuckers gone before they even spit, yo. I be dead on like I'm walking concrete. 2 feet, still don't give a fuck. Ain't nothing sweet. Looking like a Kit Kat, looking for a break. These fuckers think they cat, no logic stick. I be flowing off this flow. These fucking flow, running through my mind terrain. They can't stick it, yo. 4x4, walk this lyrical. 4x4, near the war shit. Off the top rope, yo. Like it go, hella dope. Checking out all the smoke. Murder she wrote. Perfect 816, yeah. Like it's 9 months straight later. Screaming off the field. Let these MCs know that it's evil. Check the devils, better check the levels quick. Throw the shovel, tell them digging up the dirt quick. Yo, it's Crip coming through with the strength, golden tip. MCs better lay down and get their head took a kick. Yeah, when I see all my loved ones in the next line, we are an
obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens, and because of the crisis which is even now developing, this radio station will remain on the air day and night. This station and hundreds of other radio and TV stations throughout this part of the country are pooling their resources through an emergency network hookup to keep you informed of all developments.
The ghost and the darkness have come. You ain't gotta cram for it, and you ain't gotta get all anxiety over that shit.
Opinions are solely that of the host, guests, and
straight beats is straight.
Thought alive. GoldenShow.
Yeah, what are you talking about? 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 All that talking like this, like that, all day in your hood. Golden shows, golden ghosts, strobe lights, laser lights. Look at my gold, tripping tonight. Apple shit, one morning, tone it up. No, he said, we're talking like this, talking like that. We're talking. Golden debate show, golden debate show, golden debate show. We got this, we're talking hood, draw the line. MC better talk with big chat. You know we're coming out the best. Golden show, golden robes, golden boss, golden scrubs, golden what?
Especially before it is taken into widespread use.